Hey, what's up guys, it's your boy Drew back again with another video for all you American soccer fans out there. And in this one, we're going to be talking about Christian Pulisic and just how good he is, or of course, just how good I think he is. This video is just my opinion, just the way I see Pulisic's career going so far. You guys might have a different opinion on how good you guys think he is, or if you guys don't think he's as good as everyone says he is. Either way, I would love to know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. And while you're down there, be sure you leave a like, and be sure you guys follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I'll leave that here on the screen probably, and also under in the description box. I'll give you guys 5 seconds to follow. Alright, anyway, without further ado, let's just get to it. At just 21 years old, Christian Pulisic seems to be getting such great positive feedback, not just from American soccer fans, but of course from other types of fan bases in soccer. They can start to see how good this kid is. Even though some people will call him overhyped or whatever, I still think, in my opinion, that Christian Pulisic seems to be on the right path to becoming the best face of U.S. soccer we could have, and just our talisman to leading us to some good international glory, not just Gold Cups, not just quarterfinals of the World Cup, but maybe even further than that. And I'm going to admit it right now to you guys, I wasn't really on the Pulisic bandwagon for a couple years. I did notice and see the talent he had. I was like, yeah, this kid's pretty good. Pacey, winger, he likes to create a lot of space. He seems really good on the ball. Great finisher when he gets the opportunity to, but I'm not really on the bandwagon. You know, I was afraid to hype him up because of so many players in the past of U.S. soccer that we've hyped up, like Freddie Adu, Julian Green, players of that caliber, and seem to not really live up to expectations. So I was kind of hesitant this time when I saw a lot of hype around Pulisic early on in the 2015-2016 breakout season he had with Borussia Dortmund. A team that he actually joined in 2015 from some academy in Pennsylvania, which was where he was born, Eastern PA, just like your boy Drew. So he's kind of like a hometown hero almost. Even though his state or his city is like 2 hours away from my house, it's still a hometown hero. Like I said, Borussia Dortmund signed this kid in 2015. He played wonderful for the other under 17, scoring over 10 goals for the U17 squad for Borussia Dortmund. That helped him get some traction within the club and had the club, promote him to the senior team during the winter break of the 2015-2016 season. Like I said, that was the breakout season for Christian Pulisic. And that was the year and the season that we all, as American soccer fans, got to see the talent that was just starting to grow there from one of our American talismans, yet another American player we have in the Bundesliga. And I'll be honest right now, the Bundesliga, I think, is a good league, a competitive league if you're not Bayern Munich. But I think that they have lots of good American soccer players who play there, like not anymore Pulisic, but Tyler Adams, Wilson McKinney, Chris Richards from Bayern Munich, that youngster kid. I just contradicted myself because he's from Bayern Munich, but still, you know what I mean. So after that, after so much success for 2 years with Borussia Dortmund, 3 years. He left in 2019 to join Chelsea in the Premier League, and that was the move that I was afraid of. I thought that this kid was gonna not live up to expectations as much as people were hyping him up. I know he was pretty good at Dortmund. He was a great player, a starter. But towards the end, he was having trouble finding games. He was injured a lot. So that kind of was weighing on him and his ability to start some games or even get on the pitch sometimes. But we all still had hope. We all still had hope that Christian Pulisic was able to turn it around. And when he went to Chelsea, I thought that was an iffy move because Chelsea wasn't currently still kind of not as strong as a team as they used to be. I was hoping something like Liverpool, that would have been cool, Manchester City, some of the bigger, more well-developed teams, anything but Tottenham. Anything but Tottenham. But either way, I was actually happy to see him go to the Premier League regardless, and I was really nervous and hopeful that he would do well, because if he could do well there and shine there like he did at Dortmund and like we expect him to do for the national team, then he could become the real deal, and not just American soccer fans' eyes, but in other eyes in the sports world, in the soccer world in general. So once he did, he didn't really make a big splash right away, but then so on and so forth, he did start to have some good games under his belt, good performances, and as of late, after the COVID-19 break, once soccer came back to the Premier League, he was like this whole rejuvenated player who's just killing it. He's absolutely killing it right now. Of course, at the time we're recording this, Chelsea is losing against West Ham 3-2, but you best believe Christian Pulisic was involved in every goal, that was scored so far today, and also scored some goals and gave some assists these last couple of games since the break came back, since the break was over for soccer in the Premier League. He seems to be a starter now. Frank Lampard seems to trust this kid. Chelsea, it looks to become a team made up of a bunch of young potential players who seem to be really good and like skillful, and Christian Pulisic is one of those players, and I think that is fantastic. He's got a good group around him so far, I think, and Chelsea are going to be adding some more good, young, talented players that could boost the morale of this young team and just become like this powerhouse of teams for a couple years, because they're all young, and if they do really good, they all just grow together, and it looks like it's becoming, everything's falling into place for Pulisic and for us American soccer fans. Like I said, after this break, I was like, you know what? I think I'm on the Christian Pulisic bandwagon, because he seems to actually always prove me wrong. He always seems to impress me every time he plays. Whether the team he's playing for plays bad, I always see the kind of drive and hunger he's got to be good and just better himself and win games and try to find some space. And speaking of that, I didn't talk about his position yet. Christian Pulisic, a winger, if you don't know that, he plays on the wings for USA national team and for any club he's playing for. He can play on either left or the right wing, or if you want to play him down the middle, he could also do that as well. But more preferably, he prefers the wings, more preferably the left wing. And he's not your typical classical winger. He's not going to try to run down the flanks and try to find space and making some crosses to a big striker or to any players in the box. He's a player who's going to run down through your defender, get around him, cut inside, a player who he loves to cut inside and try to find some space, not just for himself, but for a striker or other attacking players who are going to free himself, or even play a 1-2 with another player there and try to go in on goal for himself. I think his game, the style of play he's got, is great. It's tricky. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to flow through. He's so smooth on the ball, like around defenders. That he always impresses me when he's getting around other defenders. I'm like, dude, this guy is doing good. So that's why I think Christian Pulisic is not overrated, not overhyped. I think he's worth the hype. But there is two things that worry me with Christian Pulisic, and I'll get to those right now. Number one, injuries. Christian Pulisic has had a run of injuries as of last 2-3 years. He did have a big injury this past early on this season with Chelsea when he was out for over 70 days, missing 11 games for Chelsea with a pretty bad muscle injury. And I'm really afraid that these recurring muscle problems don't weigh on his potential or his form as a player, or just his mental for the game. You know, players really injuring themselves a lot or just pretty heavily really does bring down their morale and bring down their drive to be even like perform at the level they performed at before the injury. And that's a big thing that really scares me with Pulisic, because of the amount of injuries he's had so far, so young in his career. But the second thing that does worry me is, of course, the thing that always worries me, like I said, overhyping American talent. I'm scared that he's going to crack under pressure, but from what I've seen so far, he seems to handle himself well, seems to handle the media well, and the reception that he gets, positive and negative, from fans, I think he handles that well. And I really hope that he could be like the talisman and a leader in terms of being like hyped up by American soccer fan bases, a leader for all these other young kids coming through the ranks who are probably going to play with Pulisic. Players like Chris Richards from Bayern Munich, like I said, Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie, Giovanni Reina, players of that caliber, Josh Sargent, Paxton Pomykal, all these great players, young, talented players that we all have hope for that could reach kind of to Pulisic's level. And I'm for the record, I don't think Pulisic will ever be like Ronaldo or Messi type status, but he could be like a Neymar, Hazard type status. If he continues the way he's going right now, he definitely has got a big ceiling ahead of him. And I would love to know your guys' thoughts down below. What you guys think so far about Pulisic's career. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for kicking with me, and I'll see you next time. Peace.